So if you can tell me a little bit about yourself, please.
Of course. So I'm currently pursuing psychology. I am from Delhi, and I've been on this platform for around, I believe, 3 months now. So could
Oh,
you also
good
introduce
amount.
yourself? Hmm.
Sure. My name is Kumar Ravish, and I have been working for past 11 years. And yeah, I thought to join Clapingo to have word with different people from different background. So that's here I am.
That's wonderful. So do you want like a feedback based on your speech, or do you not want a feedback since you're here for conversations?
Oh, absolutely. If you find something, feedback, you can certainly tell me towards the end of this conversation.
All
I would
right,
love to
okay.
hear that.
All right, okay. So your first name is Kumar?
My name is Kumar, yes.
All right, okay. Because usually Kumar is a last name, so thank you for confirming that. All right, okay. So Kumar, have you gone through today's session's document? The topic for the day is risk.
Certainly, we can discuss about that. But going in, before moving,
Mhm.
for a session, I would like to just have a word with you and just to understand some of the things. I psychology has been a very interesting subject for most of the people who do not have that background, right? And
Truly.
always wanted to know about the psychology. What do you study in psychology? Is that the clinical psychology or something different? Because then what I understand is from the psychology is there are so many things. The psychology is divided into further subgroups, right? And
Yeah.
perhaps it is so many subgroups are there in psychology. It's a very vast term, on the whole. So if you can tell me a little bit about that, are you into a clinical psychology or perhaps aviation psychology, or what is that?
Truly. Okay, so I love talking about this subject, and so I'm currently pursuing a bachelor's degree. All right, so we don't have a specialization. We have to study all the fields, right? So every semester we have some sub units that are covered. Okay, so basically, when we study psychology, like you've already mentioned, clinical and counseling is something that most of the people are aware of. Apart from clinical and counseling, we have also studied social psychology, we study organizational behavior, we study positive psychology, community psychology. There are so it's really vast, and there are a lot of topics that can be covered under this. A general misconception that people usually have is that we study the mind. So the mind is not something we study. We usually study behavior. We see patterns. We see research. So that is the sort of thing that we do study. I would say that my personal favorite has been social psychology so far. So, in social psychology, what we studied was a lot of psychological processes and how they are applied in a social setting. So, the real life examples that were given, you can actually pick it out in your own life, right? So, we had a very small portion on relationships, but if you sort of try to think of it in your own life, if you sort of try to put it into perspective, considering your own life, you notice a lot of similarities. You understand a lot of things. So it's very practical in its approach. It is basic, it is applied, and that's what I like about the field.
Oh, wonderful. Okay,
Yeah.
very good. All right.
And what about your
So
field? Where do you work? What do you do?
I am into human resource. I have done my master's MBA, and then
Hmm.
I am specialized into recruitment itself. So I'm into IT staffing basically, and
Oh
that
wow,
too into US staffing. Yeah.
that's lovely. I am actually planning on pursuing a career in organizational psychology. So that is something I'm
Okay.
interested in. And organizational psychology is very closely related to the HR department, of course. So let's see where I
Oh,
do
yes.
end up. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's something I'm currently interested in pursuing.
So organizational behavior is one of those subjects that we have already, that is being covered in
Hmm.
when you opt for MBA. So that is one of those subjects which you normally study, the organizational behavior.
Yeah, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
common subject. actually, my sister is pursuing an MBA. So organizational behavior and human resource management are some of the subjects which she also covers. And we have also covered. So in my previous semester, I covered human resource management. And this semester, we covered organizational behavior.
Wonderful.
So, Kumar, like we are discussing, something common and general. Can you tell me a little bit about your hobbies? What do you like to do in your free time?
Free time. I like watching movies and then reading books as well, listening to music for sure.
Mhm.
So these are some of the things which are area of interest. How about you? If you can
All
tell me
right.
a little bit about it.
Pretty much the same. I love reading books. I love watching movies, and I also go for a run almost every day. That is also something that I enjoy. Apart from that, spending time with my friends, the common general things. Those are some of the things that I like. So, is there any movie that you watched recently that really resonated with you? You really enjoyed?
I was watching a series on Netflix these days, and it's Ozark,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and it's an episode, and that's pretty interesting, and that's perhaps fourth seasons running. So that's what I have been watching at this point in time.
All right. I've heard a lot about it. I never got around to watching it. So I know about it, but I haven't seen it. But
About
what sort of
Ozark.
jo yeah,
Oh, okay, okay.
what sort of genre do you usually pick for watching movies and shows?
That should be realistic, non-fictional. Mostly, I prefer something which is realistic, and then a little bit of drama, I would say, and then sometimes horror as well. But
Mhm.
most of the times, what I like watching is non-fictional.
So maybe biographies, autobiographies. Are you interested in that sort of thing?
But yes, yes, you may say so that biographies are then yeah, great again. And when that comes to reading books, I always like reading the autobiographies, and then biographies, whatever you call it. So yeah.
Right. It's the opposite for me. Whenever I'm picking a book, I usually pick fiction only. But if I'm watching movies, I really enjoy watching documentaries and non-fiction. I don't know, like I can't read non-fiction for the life of me, but I can watch non-fiction really enthusiastically.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Great.
So, mhm. So we also like have a topic for the day, which is also
Sure.
interesting. So Kumar, do you consider yourself a risk taker?
To be very honest with you, I do not believe in taking a lot of risks.
Hmm.
Uh, I find myself not very much into taking lots of risks, I would say, at
Hmm.
this point in time. Uh, but the place that I belong to is Bihar, wherein I see most of the people or families, they're inclined towards government jobs, right?
Hmm.
And I was the one who never been into this sort of I would say getting into these government jobs and trying for it, doing perhaps anything and everything in order to get that. So that was the risk which I think I've taken, which I remember this point in time. I am not very much into government jobs, and again, risk is something which you get out of the comfort zone, and
Hmm.
and then take risks and forget about the repercussions or maybe the consequences that you would face. Uh, you know, uh, so that's something which you that happens when you go out of your comfort zone, right? So though I'm not into a comfort zone, but yes, the thing is that since you are the people who are mostly running after, you know, I would say the job security, and then something which he likes to do within the comfort zone. Uh, as I said, like I never wanted that to happen. I was okay with the private jobs wherein you have so many situation coming up. You have to use your brain. You have to use your experience in order to make things favorable towards you. So
Yeah.
that's what I have been doing. Yeah. So that's a risk that I've taken. As I said, like if I talk about my background, and everything, the place that I belong to. So the people are towards the families and everybody. They're more towards getting themselves into the government jobs. So yeah. So how do you see it? What do you think about it?
I sort of am in the same boat as you. I am not someone who believes in taking a lot of risks, mostly because of the reason that I don't know. I don't think that I am comfortable enough putting myself in such a situation. Right. So I do agree with you, but like at the same time, you grew out of a place which focuses very heavily on maybe government jobs and having that sort of job security, and you took the risk of actually doing something which is completely different. And you might have faced resistance from your home or maybe from your family, because that's usually what happens when you try to, deviate from what is the norm. So I think in that respect, it's wonderful, but at the same time, I'm not someone who takes a lot of risks. I don't think I've taken any risks. I've led a very comfortable life so far, and all my choices have been favorable and come out of a place of comfort. I think that as long as you have the ability to make the choices that make you happy and they uh, turn out to be from a place of comfort, it's fine. I don't think that you have to lead an uncomfortable life or you have to make very uncomfortable choices if there is no reason to. Like, I don't believe in putting unnecessary hardships on your own self. A lot of people say that in order to face some success in your life, you have to take very risky decisions or you have to face all these hardships. I don't really believe in that, to be very honest. I believe in living a happy, comfortable life and making happy, comfortable choices if that is a possibility for you.
But if I talk about the general perception, what do you think? I mean, if you are within your comfort zone and wanted to do anything and everything, which satisfies, your comfort, or you don't want to get out of those, do you think it is possible for people, to do incredible things? You know, if sitting back at home and doing work from home, doing something which you really like, you don't want to go out of your house and doing something which perhaps takes a lot of jobs meticulously done, so many
Hmm.
things which requires your efforts, and sometimes you might not be okay with the efforts that are required, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
you'll be uncomfortable doing those things. So do you think, I mean, people will be so successful if they'll not get out of the comfort zones?
Not really. So, by comfortable choices, I do not mean that you sit back and don't do anything, right? By comfortable choices, I mean choices where you don't really have to think, as in the first choice you make, which seems the best for you. That is what I mean. But of course, in life, you will have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, right? In life, you will encounter a lot of things which might not go as per your plan, and that is also part of life. Obviously, the whole of your life cannot be lived in a bubble where you're absolutely comfortable at all times. And like you mentioned, I don't think that it's possible to achieve great success without facing some sort of hardship or some sort of problems. So that is something you'll have to face, of course. But again, I think that if you're not looking for a lot of great success, if you don't want to be someone who's like the CEO of a company, or like you don't have such ambitious aims and you just want to live a happy and good life, I think that's also good enough. I don't think that everybody has to have some sort of this high achieving goal, because not everybody thinks that way. I personally am a person who wants to achieve good things in their life, but if somebody is not, I think that's also completely fine. It depends on how people want to lead their lives. If people want to live a comfortable and happy life without putting themselves in risky situations, that's completely fine. If people want to achieve great things, put themselves in risky situations, make uncomfortable decisions, completely up to them. It depends on choice. What do you choose out of your life?
Yes, yes, you're right. Taken. Points taken. Yes.